Minute, please. I'm having an issue here. Sorry, please. I'm just coming back from somewhere, so I'm not yet settled.
Sure, okay.
Okay. The first thing to do, as I said earlier, to those that joined the morning meeting, afternoon meeting rather, the first thing to do is the work is going to take place on the Loft platform. The work is going to take place on the Loft platform, and to get access to it, you first need the link to the platform. So the link to the platform, this is the link to the platform, which is datacompute.google.com. So you copy the link, which will be given to you. Once you copy it, you go to Google Incognito, you open new incognito window, and you paste it there. Okay. After that, it will request for your email or phone. So you first get your username. Let me use this. I think let me use this. Okay. You copy the username and paste it here.
Sorry, I cannot see the screen.
Okay. Are you using a mobile device or a
No,
PC?
I'm on my laptop. Can you share it once more?
Okay, you can see my screen. Okay, sorry, please. Let me share it again. Okay, I guess you can see it now. So let's go ahead.
Yes. Yes, thank you.
Okay, you get. I said you copy the link. This is the link. After you must have copied it, then you go to incognito window. To open incognito window, you just click on this and you click here, new incognito window. It has to be incognito tab, please. Then you paste the link and allow it to load. It will request for email or phone. So what you have to paste here, or what you have to, the login detail is the username, and the username will be given to you. Each task has a username and also a password. So the username and password will be given to you. So let's use this fourth account. We copy the username and also paste it here. Next, it will ask for the email. You copy the email. Sorry, the password rather. You copy it. And you paste it here. Then you allow it to load. Okay, it's still loading. Let's just give it a while, some few minutes. It will load. This blue line here shows that it is still loading. Okay, it has finished loading. Just a minute, please. Let me. Okay, this is how the platform look like. Now let me just put you through some important things before I put you through on how to do the work. Okay, the first thing you need to know, or the first thing you need to do immediately you log into the Loft platform, is to confirm the task ID that was given to you or assigned to you, if it corresponds with the task ID on the platform. If the task ID on the platform did not correspond with the task ID assigned to you, then you should report to the person who assigned the task to you, and the person will rectify that issue. So how do you get the task ID on the platform? You come to this place. Can you see where my cursor is? And you click on this, and immediately you click on it, this will pop up. Okay, here is the task ID. Task ID, the same thing with question ID. Now, if you notice, this task ID ends with 1015. Now, you check the last four numbers whether it corresponds with the task ID, because when the task is assigned to you, one of the things that will be given to you, apart from the login details, which is the username and the password, also a task ID will be given to you. Now, you have to just check this last four digits if it corresponds with the one given to you. If it corresponds, then you are on the right track, so you continue working. Now, another thing you need to know is this timer here. Can you see this timer where my cursor is? The second timer, which is 30.000. This is the total length of the audio that you are working on. Loft rule says that each audio must be less than 30 minutes, and that means it can be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 15, 20, or 30 minutes, but it can't be more than 30 minutes. Now, this is a 30 minutes audio that you are to transcribe, and load time is in minutes, seconds, and milliseconds, not in hour, minute, and seconds. No, but rather in minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. You know that 1000 milliseconds makes 1 second. Now, this timer here, this first timer here, is will show you or indicate to you where exactly on the audio you are. For example, if I click at this spot where this blue line is, blue horizontal vertical line is, it showed me that I'm at the 2 second on the audio. This is the 2 second. The second, uh, yes, the second, the 2 second on the audio. While if I click on this, I'm at the fourth second. If I click on this, is at the fifth second on the audio. So if I should play it from this place, it will start playing from the fifth second, because my cursor, my blue line here is on it. So this is for this timer, while this timer is the total length of the audio. Then the next thing you need to know is how to unpack a task. Whenever you sign into Loft, one of the first things that you need to do is to unpack the task. That will be shown to you. The people that, or the person that will assign a task to you, will show you how to unpack the task. Now, to unpack a task, you click on where this P is. You can see P here. You click on where this P is. If a task is packed, you will see one written here, figure one. There will be P with a figure raised to power one here. P raised to power one. That one means the task has been packed or had been packed. Now you click on it. Once you click on this P, okay, the instruction here is telling us that you cannot open a packed question while the current question is active on your workbench. Now there is a current work on the workbench, therefore you cannot open another task, or you cannot open a packed task rather. Now the next thing you need to know is, please don't click on skip and don't click on submit. It's not your responsibility. It's the responsibility of the segmenters. They will check the work you have done. If it is okay, they will submit it or they will skip it. There are some rules to skipping a task. One of the rules says that when an audio is let's say 70% or more in another language which is not the local or the native language you are transcribing, that task ought to be skipped. But first of all, if you notice that a task or the audio you are working on is roughly 70 or 80% in another language which is not the language you are transcribing, you ought to report it to a person who assigned the task to you, and the person knows what to do. So don't click on skip and don't click on submit. Now to start working, okay, let me explain something again before. Now you can see this. Let me just give me a minute. Okay, this red horizontal line you see here is called a segment. These are the segments, and you ought to transcribe within the segment. This is a segment, you can see it here. This segment, below it also is another segment here. Below it is another one. So this one, this is another, while this is also another segment. Now you are to transcribe in the segment that has been created already. So what you ought to do is you locate the first, this is the first one, and you ought to click on it just below this timer. When you click on it, you then play the audio. Your work basically is just to play the audio, play the segment rather. You play the segment, whatever you hear from the segment, you click below it here and you type it out like this. Let me just clean this. That is when you are done with this, then you scroll down to the next segment, which is this, and you also play, and whatever you listen, you click on here and you transcribe it. Now notice something. This segment, it is written here that transcription not required. That means that you ought not to transcribe this. Don't transcribe this. So you just move to the next, because this is noise and we can't transcribe noise. So we move to the next segment. Anyway, you see transcription not required, please skip it and move to the next segment. This is the next segment. You click on it and you play it. And whatever it says, you click here and type it. Please don't translate. We're not translating to English, but rather we're transcribing. Therefore, we're writing or we're typing exactly what we heard in that local language, in that native language. Okay, that is basically what the work entails. The work just entails that play the audio and type here. Now there are some few things you need to do. Two things. One is how to change a speaker name, and the second is how to label. Now, Loft rule says that when you identify a speaker or when you identify a speaker name, you edit from speaker one to the name of the person. And this audio, I think this audio has how many speakers? Okay, it has speaker about 20 speakers. Yes. Speaker what? It has roughly 20 speakers. Roughly 20. Okay. So how do you change a speaker name? For example, you identify speaker one name as John. What you ought to do is to edit this from speaker one to speaker John, because you have identified the person speaking as John. Probably the person mentioned his name or call out his name, or someone, another speaker, probably a second or a third speaker, called out speaker one by name and said John. Therefore, you identify them as John. I want to change it. So what you ought to do is you come to this place, the left side of your screen here, and you look for where speaker one is. This speaker one. Once you see, this shows that this speaker one spoke 50 times. That's what here. While speaker two here spoke 16 times, based on the segments. Actually, not really speaking, but based on the segment. It has been segmented into 16 different parts. Now you click on this, permit me to say three horizontal, three vertical dots. Permit me to use that. Just click on this place. Once you click on it, you will see edit speaker. Then you click on edit speaker and you will remove the one. Love says that just remove one. Don't remove everything. Remove one and what? And write the speaker name that you identify, which is John, with a capital H. First letter ought to be capital. So then you click on save. But I don't want to save it because speaker one is not John. I've not identified the person as John. So if I should click on save now, everywhere speaker one spoke, it will change to speaker John. Now let me just cancel it. If you identify a speaker, okay, that is how to change a speaker name. Then the next thing is how to label, because each segment ought to be labeled according to what the segment is. These are some different labels we have. We have the noise label, the applause, DTMF, the foreign speech, the laughter, the ringtone, the singing, the unknown, the unintelligible, the PII. PII means personal information. Then we have the music, and we also have the offensive speech. Now you label a segment based on what the segment represent. Okay, let me start by using the foreign speech. Let's assume this segment that we are working is a foreign speech. A foreign speech is based on Loft rules. Any language or yeah, any language that is not the language that you are transcribing is a foreign speech. Now, this is the Georgian language. Let's assume while the speaker was speaking, the speaker spoke, say some words in English or in French. Therefore, it is a foreign language, and what you ought to do, you are to tag this label as a foreign language. But mind you, I said, uh, okay, you can't tag a complete segment a foreign speech when it is just a part of the segment that is a foreign speech. This is what I mean. Probably the speaker started speaking in the native language, but when he reached this point, at this wavelength here, when he reached this point, he switched to English and spoke English to this point. Then from this point, he concluded in the native language. Therefore, it is not the whole segment that is a foreign speech, but rather some part of the segment that is a foreign speech. Therefore, we cannot tag the whole segment a foreign speech. So what we ought to do, we are to split out, or we are to create a segment only for that part which is a foreign speech, and then tag it as foreign speech. I'm going to teach you how to do that, but let me just show you the rest of the labelings before we go to that. Now, another labeling is noise. Noise label is when the segment is completely noise. For this, you will not use noise segment a lot because the transcribers will do that for you. Sorry, the segmenters, those that are making the segments will identify noise segment and they will tag it as as noise. Now is if the segment is just an applause, probably when you play after playing this segment, you notice that it is just an applause, then you are to come here where the segment is and tag it as applause. Now the next is laughter. If it is just laughter, you tag it as laughter. But I said earlier, the laughter must be the complete segment. If the complete segment is laughter, then you tag it as laughter. Then the next thing is ringtone. If the segment is a ringtone, probably a phone ringing, a phone, yes, ringing, then you tag it as ringtone. Now singing. Singing is when a person is singing a song, literally. So when a person is singing a song, you tag it as singing. But after you tag it as singing, you must transcribe. You must write the lyrics of the song. Now, if a person is singing a song in a foreign language, please don't tag it as singing, but tag it as a foreign language. But if a person is singing a song in the native language, then you ought to tag it as singing. Is that clear, please? Okay, now let me explain the next one, which is the music. Sorry, please. Let me see if someone is okay. Just a minute. Next is the music. Let me explain the music. Uh Music is when the audio you play is just instrumentation, probably a keyboard, drums, a guitar, or any musical instrument, or any instrumentation. If it is just an instrumentation, then you tag it as music. Then you tag that segment as music. Now, PII. Okay, let me go to unknown. Unknown is when you do not really get what the person is saying. Probably you don't know what language it is. You don't know whether it's a foreign language or not, and probably you can't recognize it. You tag it as unknown. Unintelligible is when you do not really get what the person is saying. The person is speaking in the in the native language which you are transcribing, but you did not really get what the person is saying, so you tag it as unintelligible. Now, PII is personal information. Let me just click here so that you can see. Okay, you can see address, ID. Okay, open very well so that okay, you can see address, ID, email, and phone. Now, PII, as I said earlier, is personal information. Name of a person is a personal information. Address of a person is a personal information. Email of a person is a personal information. Or phone number. Those are personal informations which we do not need. I said earlier, okay, I did not say that. These are this is a Google project and is for the purpose of machine learning to enhance machine learning so that artificial intelligence can be able to translate languages and other things, other services like that. Therefore, the machine does not require any personal information. So any personal information you tag it as PII, and whenever you tag any segment as PII, it will tell you that transcription is not required because transcription is not required for any personal information. Okay, but there's a little difference, or there's a little. Okay, now another thing I would like to say when it comes to wow, I made a mistake. Another thing I would like to say when it comes to PII, uh, the name of a celebrity or the address of a celebrity is not a PII, please. Either a celebrity or a famous person. For example, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, or George Bush, or Barack Obama. Okay, those are not personal information because they are names of famous individuals. Therefore, you should not tag them as PII. Now, what I would like to show you is how to split a segment. Now, for you to tag a segment as PII, please, you okay, let me say this. While a speaker is speaking, let's assume this segment, while a speaker is speaking, right from this place, he was speaking or he is speaking in the native language, but when he reached this place, he called out a name of a person, which is a PII, either his name or a name of another person, a second party. Now, and after he called out the name, he concluded this segment with speaking in that native language. Therefore, you can't tag this whole segment as PII because the PII is just a particular portion of this segment. Therefore, you ought to split out only or cut out only that portion that is a PII and tag it as PII. Also, the same thing with offensive speech. I've not explained offensive speech. The same thing with offensive speech. If the offensive speech is just a particular portion of that segment, you ought to split out that portion and tag it as offensive speech. Because if I should tag this whole segment as offensive speech, then is wrong based on Loft rule. So cut it out and tag it as PII. Now, how do you split a segment? Okay, I want to say this. Let's assume this person there is it's a foreign speech from this portion, from this particular place here, down to this place, this wavelength here. There is the speaker, which is speaker one, mentioned something in English, which is a foreign speech, and you want to split it out. So what you ought to do is you first click on the segment you want to split, then you identify where the speaker started saying, or where he started, where he first mentioned that foreign speech. You click on where he starts. Let's assume this is the portion, and whenever you click on it, this blue vertical line will appear there, meaning that if I should click on split here, it will split at this particular point. Now I click on split, it's split. Can you see it has split this segment into two? Now the next thing is let's assume the foreign speech starts from here and ends at this point. Therefore, I also need to split out this point. So this is where it ends. I click on that place. You can see my blue line now is appearing there. But then the next thing is to click on the segment. Please click on the segment, then click on split. So I have my foreign speech in the middle. This is the foreign speech in the middle. So I'll click on it. After clicking on it, then I will tag it as foreign speech. So it will be only this particular portion that will be a foreign speech. Then this portion, which is in the native language, I will play it and then I'll transcribe it. Then I'll come to the ending part of it also. I will play it and I'll transcribe it. So that is how to split. If it is an offensive speech, you also split the offensive part out. That's if it is not the whole segment, and tag that portion as offensive speech. If it is PII, which is the name of a person, you split it out and tag it as PII. So that's how to do the labeling. That's how to label a segment. Now, the last thing I think should be the last thing that we should know is how to save our work. Now, Loft save your work automatically. Uh, if your system is connected to the internet, you don't need to save the work. As you type, your work will be saved by the platform. Okay, let me just show an example. Let me change this to low level. Okay, just notice that immediately I change this, you see it is writing saving. Last saved 2003. Now if I should type anything, I'm typing something, you see it is saving it. So anything you do, it saves it immediately. So ensure that before you close this window that your work has been saved, and the last save should correspond with your local time on your PC. So that is how to save your work. Ensure that your work is being saved so that when your system get disconnected from the internet and you don't know, you'll be able to check it before closing the tab. Now, you must not finish the work at once. This is a 30-minute audio, so it will take you some few hours. It depends on how fast you can type to finish it. So if you have something you want to attend to after you must have worked for a while, you can close the tab, ensure that your work has been saved, close the tab, then come back later and finish it. The most important thing is you have to finish. We expect every transcriber to transcribe at least 30 minutes audio every 24 hours. That's every day. Because we have almost 2 hours, as I was told, we have almost 2 hours of work to be done. We're expecting uh, more tasks to be uploaded to the working pool. So we expect you to also work 30 minutes audio to transfer 30 minutes audio daily. daily. Yeah. So I don't know if there is any question. I would like to entertain uh, questions.
I just have one question. Yeah, if I understand correctly, these labels are already created when we
Can you
open up
speak
the
loud because I'm
platform.
not getting you?
Now, can you hear now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, just to clarify, the labels are already created when we enter the platform, yes? So we have not to create them, just if splitting is necessary.
Yes, you are not to create segments. The segment
Okay,
have been created already. So you are just to transcribe and, if necessary, label it. Sometimes you don't need to put any label. It's not a must. But if necessary, you label it, and then if necessary, also you change the speaker name. But if you do not
okay.
identify the speaker name, just leave it as speaker one or speaker two or speaker five or whatever speaker it is. Have
Okay,
I
just
answered your
to
question?
clarify, because previously when I worked, I had to create myself, so that's why I wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. You're welcome. Any other person, please, having a question so that we will attend to it. Okay. If there's no question, then after this meeting,